Good afternoon, I'm the Dark Ages with Nick, and welcome back to INSULARIS DRACO, or more so, welcome to, because I privated my old INSULARIS DRACO videos, because in the playthrough I did, as the South Angles, I had no idea what I was doing, really, but today I'm doing a Roman finance guide, as you can see the Romans down here, as they start with hemorrhaging cash, and that is not an exaggeration. We'll get into the game. More specifically, we'll get into the aftermath of the Battle of the Catalaunian Fields, or Plains. I say fields because I know the German translation. It translates as Katalonischen Feldern, which is fields, but it's plains. But I'll shut up. I'll see you guys after I've auto-resolved the Battle of the Catalonian Plains. I'll explain why in a sec. First, however, even though I said I would auto-resolve past that, I just want to show the lead-up. This is the prologue to the mod's start date in 451, where if you play as the Romans, Thuringians, Franks, Visigoths, I think maybe one more fact, I think that's it. If you play as any of those, you start with the Catalonian fields, with this big battle right here, and you'll see actually it's a little bit of animation. And then we'll auto-resolve past it, just because that is the literal easiest thing to do, because if you don't auto-resolve and you actually fight it, you'll have scenarios like I had where you literally only have 2 units remaining of 1 person each. And not that is far from an exaggeration. I had Flavius Aetius, then one little Hunnic Lancer unit, one mercenary unit, which is part of the army here. But yeah, so I'll press this and I'll let the battle fire, you'll see. Look at this. I think it's just cool. Look at that. So it's a 98 strength ratio. Attilo, the Hun, the king of the Gepids, right here. Let's see. We have another Hunnic leader under Thuringians, who are like they were like a German tribe that intermixed with the Huns. Then Ostrogothic, as you can see, a Malingos. So Ostrogoths or Amelingoths. But let's auto-resolve this, and we'll see. Yeah, look at that, we won the battle. Let's see, did we lose? Oh no, we actually kept Flavius Aetius. But again, this is a finance guide, so we'll get dealing with the finances. Look at that, Flavius Aetius. Usually when you auto-resolve, you lose Flavius Aetius. So, yeah, you can see the history right here. We're basically right now the Roman well, not Rumsey, we're still the Roman government in Gaul because it's 452. Emperor Valentinian III still ruling from Ravenna, but Gaul has been saved. You and your allies have won the all-important battle of the Catalonian Fields. With the Huns on the run after humiliation battle, we can finally say that Gaul is saved. Relations between the newly minted Frankish Visigothic Roman alliance are amicable for now. Perhaps in due time our nation's difference will play up, but it is not this date. This day we celebrate, we drink to the town saved by our intervention, we toast to the king of the Goths, Theodoric, who fell heroically in battle. We drink to the image of the scourge of God fleeing Gaul with his tail tucked between his legs. As for the spoil of war, these will be divided between the Germanic federates, who more than proved their mettle on the field. You can also see in the corner right here, we gained a bunch new provinces, as we have loyalist towns. Your glorious victory on the Campi Catalonici has had another unsuspected fortuitous consequence. A number of Gallic civitas has redeclared fealty to the Empire after previously submitting to the Hunnic horde under threat of extermination. Well, it seems the Limes Germanicus and all its corresponding towns along the River Rhine have been lost to the Ripuari and the Alemanna. Many other have returned. The town of Senomanos, Luxovium, Tricasis, Lingones, and Verdano. You can recognize this as Verdun. I don't really remember what the others translate to. Now belong to Rome once more. They still must be garrisoned properly, defending against their numerous foes in the vicinity, such as the ever-present Bagodai, which are local rebels or it's more local tribes that the towns would transfer their authority to. Like say, for example, in Amorca, or present-day Normandy, if you live like right here and it's 452, the Empire's really not going to be able to like take care of you, so you turn to local leaders, and as such, a governor back here would be like, oh, it's Bugatti rebels, like bandits actually. But sorry to digress, but also barbarous nations like the Saxons, Thuringi, and Alemanni. The major civitas of Treveris, which is Trier, however, still remains in the hands of local usurpers, as does the nearby Metis. To the west, we also have lost control of the civitas Nemnitas and Constantia, and the Castro Riordones on the Armorican borderlands. Let me show you, I was not joking about our finances. We start with an expenditure of 69,673 ducats, while we only gain 32,000, so we're in a hole about 37,000. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix your finances. You can see Flavius Aetius has also now gone back to Rome, so we have to do this. But this army is very, very expensive. Let me show you by showing some price. 420 for that. 150, not bad, but it's really these heavy archers that are going to be the main enemy. Well, let's also get rid of these horse archers right here. We'll try to merge some of these units if possible. Germanic archers. Now we're gonna do a lot of these kind of slashings. We're trying to make like a very, very elite but very small force that then we can build a tax base around. And so that's going to require a lot of austerity. We're going to get these guys back to Soissons. But first, we're going to get rid of the archers here. As you can see, this is going to be a recurrent theme. These archers are going about 500 upkeep per unit. And I'm only keeping these guys around just to keep the order. We're also, I should show, because the Hunnic raids, we're going to be in the hole of, like, repairing, so we'll try to get these repairs done as quickly as possible. We're also going to go down the line. Let me show you. Even if you set AI to only save, we're going to go down the line, and we're going to go change every settlement we can to not having any construction or recruitment. Just, you might not think the AI would spend money if you set it to save. You'd be surprised they actually will. And let's see. We're gonna just completely go full austerity mode. And it's also fortunate that we got these new towns. However, we are not going to waste any money on rebuilding them, as the Alamans or Ripuarian Franks will probably just cross the Rhine again. Well, they've already crossed it, as you can see right here. The Rhine River, they've already breached the front line. So, first of all, we're going to disband the garrisons down here. Funnily enough, we'll just let them revolt again. We'll just go slashing. Just totally slashing all the financial burden of these places. And we want to basically create a consolidation around this area right here. I think, honestly, I would have it extend down to Orleans right here, but the Visigoths are going to spawn in. But you can see down here we have very, very wasteful garrisons that we really do not need. We're just going to shift our government stuff, but you can see, oh yeah, he actually came back, he returned. This was a very fortunate auto resolve that actually I got very lucky, because usually both leaders would die, and that's just something I don't like, so I like to keep them around. For more austerity methods over here, is we're going to just shift the government to a little consolidated area, and you'll see. We're going to just clear out the archers, but leave these Laici. These guys over here, we're going to clear out. However, we'll leave 2 units right here just because they are making money right here. As for this, Germanic Saxon attack is going to come, so we're going to get our fleet, which we'll disband in a sec. We'll get these guys. You might say, why are you actually abandoning this? We'll just leave these little Laici right here, and then take this guy back to Paris. It's Paris, Rotomagus, and these towns right here that you really want to fortify and defend. But let's get rid of more of these archers. and especially these Germanic spear bearers and javelin border guards, as they can soak up the farms. We also need to get our traders. I would recommend an iron smeltery right here. Spend the spy, and also let's start opening stuff up with the Salian Franks, who are our allies. And you can see we've only made a very, very rudimentary dent in our finances. And then we also have some swordsmen down here. You basically want to shrink as much as possible your expenditure for units. Still, my austerity measures are going to only do so much. Let's shrink this down even further. See, we shrunk the deficit a little, but we're still having to pay some for construction. Let me see. There we go. You're always going to be finding little garrison armies down here that are spending too much on like these bordermen units. At the same time, this is a valuable province, so I don't want to like totally gut its defense just so they don't rebel. And already we're starting to look better financially. But we're going to get this army to Soissons, and we're going to try to fix our tax base. And by doing that, we have to do some repairs. Focus the repairs only in this region right here. Because now we're going to have a little bit of a deficit. But there's a thing I'm going to show you in a sec once we end the turn, which I'll make a pause right now, and I'll see you once we get it. First of all, we just ended the turn, and you can see our deficit is not that much. But we also have this, which is a realism choice, which is basically the mod developers asking if you want to shift over to more like a alternate history Gallo-Roman kingdom around the year 500. I've done this before. It's like cool units, but like it totally like halts your progress, which it does warn about. But they're cool units, so I would recommend doing it. But just this is the introduction to the mod. Let's see. You can see civil disorder as the units the towns we've pulled back from are now revolting. Not really a problem. But let's see. We should be getting a financial aid from the Roman government. That was what I was hoping for. But it's also, that reminded me, let's slash the fleet. Let's also now send... We are having a little bit of public order problems, so if in doubt, shift to growth, because that does get the public order back up. Just because growth practices low taxes means better public order. But let's slash this fleet right here, because we're not going to need it. And I will see you guys next turn. I'm just going to be shifting these armies around more in the background. And then I'll see you guys next turn. And here is what I was talking about. For the first couple of turns, Rome will send you about 30,000, 40,000 silver, which you want to immediately put to use constructing buildings. I'll show you what to construct. You also want to do emissary missions like this, just to get free units. Well, hopefully not expensive units, but you can still see we're losing 16,000, which compared to us losing 34,000 at the start is not bad. But yeah, so we need to still just focus on repairing. And I wouldn't bother repairing those roads, but shipwright, forum, so you want to repair stuff that's useful like this. Academia. Well, actually, now I said that we should repair these roads because they do give an income boost. But let's see. It's also, again, forgot to slash the Paris garrison. There we go. It should alleviate a little bit of our burden. But let me show you some buildings I would recommend building. First of all, I would recommend, let me see, where is it? The Proconsul's Palace, the Magistrate's Hall, the Treasure Chest, which I'll actually queue up now, the Mail Weaver, the River Jetty, which leads into the port, and then if you can check, which right here, I would recommend mines. You basically want to get anything that can help boost up the revenue in this area. But, see, let's get a treasure chest. I would start spamming out treasure chests and magistrates' halls as soon as possible. You also don't want to queue up when it goes gray like that. You don't want to queue it up because that will like be something that would then be taking out your treasury. We can see these guys are starting to rebel, so let's slash their garrison because we're not paying for that. Saxon raiders are also going to start spawning. We can see we'll be a little bit in the hole, and let's also now focus on this Allen army down here. We'll slash the garrison that had been there previously, and we'll merge any units down here and get rid of any that's low strength like this. See, delete. And look at that, we should have slashed our deficit down even further. Ignore that, this is construction cost. But we went from an army upkeep, I think, of more than 50,000 to 33,000. Now it's just construction, which will in turn have more economic benefits. You also want to, as I might have mentioned, you get generals through recruitment events, so you want to stick them in cities, as they'll help boost your income and also keep the order as they're upkeep free, and that's very good if you want to just keep the order without having to drop any money on it. But I'll see you guys next turn. We should be getting another donation, hopefully, because we're going to be in a little bit of a deficit, but it's decreasing every time. Okay, the city revolted after the next turn, so we're just going to disband the garrison. You want to just basically, again, consolidate around these provinces right here, build up a tax base, then expand. I would also recommend taking this field army, which I would honestly start sending west. And also you want to take the Allens that you have right here. I would only really take the heavy cavalry. You want to meet them up, and then you can maybe start expanding over here just to get some like conquest revenue. I would go after like the cities that revolted over here. They might be marked on your map, but I'll toggle Fog of War just to show you their location. You can see up here, or Senemanos, which we had until this turn. The same for this, which I wouldn't recommend just because the Saxons are about to drop off a raiding fleet over here. But then Constantina, Biocasum, and then Redones. But there's also Brittonic factions over here, which you are going to be nominally friendly with, but just when it's not worth the risk trying to fight a faction because they can actually respond. But the Domnoni should be busy fighting Powys and the Saxons and Jutes up here. But I'll see you guys next turn, as we should be getting another donation, which will help alleviate our finances. You can see our deficit is shrinking each time, as we're now only losing 5,385. And as we construct more buildings and get more economic value, we should be getting more. That deficit should be shrinking each time. And true to my promise, we got a donation of 40,000, which now puts us in the positive. And so, yeah, there we go. Saxons and Gaul, they've landed over here. We can get maybe this guy, Gallic aristocrat. And you will get periodic events like this where it's just what's going on in the rest of the world. It's 454 AD, and we're looking a little tight on our funds. And well, actually, again, we're looking a lot better. We're only losing 61,000. So now I would recommend, let's see, public health doesn't really matter, but Magistrates Hall, and then let's see, just anything that boosts up the income, because you'll be surprised how fast that income could add up. See, we need to repair stuff over here. But shipwright, maybe. Just so then we can get, let's see. Then provincial dukes that's something I would really stress getting. Because you can see 400 and also public order due to happiness. So we're going to try to get dukeses and everywhere you go. And yeah, I think you get that by getting the Magistrates Hall. Or let me actually, there's building trees right here. So let me see provincial government. Where is the dukeses? Let me see. Oh, yeah, you get the treasure chest and then you get the provincial dukes. That's how it works. I don't know why I blanked on that. Let's see. Down here, we need a Magistrates Hall. And yeah, Rotomagnus over here. It is very fortunate to be a port. So you can get a slipway and then a port, and then it'll boost up your income even more. And so now, after the end of the turn, we should only be in a shortage of about 4,000 ducats, which is compared to my previous games where by this time I was in a shortage of like 20 or 200,000. That is very, very good. But we're going to meet up the forces right here. We're going to go campaign. We're going to sack this city and just keep moving until we secure Amorca. And then we'll try to turn back as the Burgundians are going to be coming. I'm not exaggerating about that. The Burgundian invasion will be spawning. Once we get that notification, we'll be shifting our forces even more north. We'll just abandon Senones, but we'll try to consolidate a garrison around Aurelianus. But by then we should have this secured. I'm stressing defending Aurelianus or Orleans because you are making 4,000 ducats out of it. But worst case scenario, just turtle up right here. So anyway, I'll see you guys next turn, and then we'll see once we get in the positive. I'll end this episode. I also forgot to disband the river fleet right here. This should alleviate the burden on our finances. I'll keep one ship around just so we can transport stuff up and down this river. And look at that, we should only be losing about 5,000 ducats. Okay, we have our armies finally meeting up the Allen contingent down here, led by one of our Gothic generals. And so we'll be sending this army over here just to begin the consolidation of our Morica, which should add some revenue to our funds. But as quickly as we send them out, we want to then, once we pick this up, we want it to be like a 3-4 turn campaign over here, because then we got to shift back to defending Orleans down here, because the Burgundians should be spawning in. We are also about, let's see how much turn, we're 6 turns in, so this will maybe be first 10 turn guide. I could do that. Let's send the Riparians over here. There we go.
I shall speak to them now.
It's Salian Franks, not Riparians. But yeah, we should be getting another donation, and that will put us in the positive since we're only now losing 4,400 a month. Again, you got to remember, I was losing like 200,000, 100,000 when I was doing my first playthrough with INSULARIS Draco when I re-downloaded this mod like a week ago. And we have received a donation, and so this should be more money to work with. And we are now only losing about 3,100, so we're in the positive basically, compared to, again, the previous deficit we're running on. And once these provincial dukes finish, we can start getting the... we need workshops and then treasure over here. We're going to be a little more conservative for money now, just to really wait until we get a actual surplus. But treasure chest down here, repair the road, and then a magistrate's hall. I know I said that would be conservative, but we'll just get the funds up here. As for Paris, a port right here, very, very good building. We're also not going to do cruel taxation, we'll do harsh taxation. We'll blow 4,200 on this just to get a 700. We'll also open our trade routes. And this army is going to be in 2 turns getting ready to attack. And we'll only be at 1,400 ducats, which, I mean 14,000. So again, we're actually in the positives for once. We completed the factional mission for meeting the Riparians, and as such we got these guys, which we're only gonna keep around. We'll keep 1 unit just for safekeeping, but our deficit is growing a little, but we'll get the donation next turn. And we're also gonna get a good influx of revenue once we finish these constructions. Once we get the Dukeses. We'll be earning some good money. Let's get the Magistrate's Hall over here, and we should be only losing about 4,000. These fun, like, then minus 9,100 is really just the construction funds. It's eating into it, but once we queue those up and such, once we also get these finished, we should be making some good money. Again, you never want to do cruel taxation, as the long-term gains of actually having growth is going to be very, very important. We're currently at 8 turns, and I think in 2 turns we'll be able to get a positive economic growth and actually not running such a large deficit. And fortunately, we have another 40,000 silver coming in from Rome, and as such, you can see we are going to be nearly swimming in the positive. We'll be, let's see if we get maybe a river. Let's get something where we can get some funds. I think workshops, that opens up the other governmental buildings. Let's see. Swell Stone should be finished in 2 turns. Oh, we never even got a magistrate's hall. What are we doing? But, maybe we could repair these guys over here. Just because I hate to see them. We'll do this. Repair this. But then another magistrate's hall. How am I forgetting to get magistrate's halls? Paris. Oh, look at that. Let's see if we can get mines also. No. Again, this is why I'm checking right now, because if we could get mines, as you can see, check before you build, it will give us revenue, but it's growth. Look at that. A Palatine Fortress. Look at that. It's cool. Again, let's do mild taxation, just more growth. Roto Magnus, let's see. Should be finishing in 1 turn. And let's get maybe River Jetty next. Or mixed farming, but it's a really expensive and takes long to build. So I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend Slaver's Field also, because it makes it really, because we're an Orthodox Christian faction. By Orthodox, I mean not Nicene, Chalcedonian Christian. But yeah. So now send this army over here to reconquer the city we held just a couple turns ago against Batavian warbands. There's a couple bit of promoted cavalry. We'll just auto-resolve that because I don't really want to fight a battle on camera. And I'll see you guys next turn. We should, well, the goal now is, even though we're still in a deficit, to just try to hold out until the next donation and keep using the funds we're given, as well as the new provincial dukeses. Let's also get a treasure chest over here to just earn, to get in the positive. Provincial dukes over here also. And so I'll see you guys next turn, and then that'll be the 10th turn, and we'll do sort of a wrap up, just how the 10th turn will be looking. Okay, it's the 10th turn. Let's end with another conquest over here, or reconquest, just auto-resolve. We would have taken more losses actually fighting it out. Thankfully, we didn't take any losses from our Palatine guards over here. And let's pillage and plunder, just punishment for rebelling. Do a little bit of repairs, and then get a treasure chest. And we should, look at that, we have shrunk our deficit to only minus 1,200 ducats. And so I'm at the Dark Ages with Nick, and this was my first 10-turn finance guide of how to play the Romans in Insularis Draco.